gets from American consumers, especially those in America's once vaunted middle class. The notion of a consumer financial product agency, a freestanding, independently funded entity like the Federal Communications Commission, was originally hers, unveiled in an article she published in the spring of 2007. The truth is that no one much cared for the idea, until her unheeded concerns turned up at the center of the worst financial meltdown since the Great Depression. So today is a long-delayed victory for Warren. Almost. Somehow, nothing in the Rose Garden is quite as it seems. The president praises Warren, whom he says he met at Harvard Law School, as though they are old friends. They're not, and Warren only became a professor at Harvard Law the year after Obama graduated from it. In fact, over the past 2 years, while Warren has seen herself lionized on magazine covers and in primetime interviews as a leading voice for tough, restorative reforms, the president seems to have been studiously avoiding her. Part of the problem, clearly, is that she has been acting the way people expected and hoped that the man from Grant Park would. This has caused discomfort, not only for the president, but also for his top lieutenants, including the boyish man in the too-long jacket at Obama's right hip, bunched cuffs around his shoes, looking more than anything like a teenager who just grabbed a suit out of his dad's closet. That's Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner, looking sheepish. Only those in his inner circle at Treasury, though, can precisely read what's behind that expression. A string of private efforts across the past year to neutralize Warren. The previous fall, Geithner huddled with top aides to develop what one called an Elizabeth Warren strategy, a plan to engage with the firebrand reformer that would render her politically inert. He never worked out a viable strategy, a way to meet with Warren without drawing undesirable comparisons. And so, like the president, he didn't. What the Treasury Department did do, unbeknownst to Warren, was embrace demands from the banking industry to create a bureau under the condition that Warren would not be allowed to lead it. But as the financial reform bill moved to a vote in early summer, industry lobbyists were so aggrieved at the idea of an agency, they felt it unsupportable under any conditions, that they didn't bother to call in their chits on Warren. In fact, they played it just so. The industry managed to get the proposed agency shrunk into a bureau that would live under the auspices of the Federal Reserve, the government's greatest mixed metaphor of public purpose and private self-regard, representing as it does the dual interests of a sound monetary policy and the health of the banking industry. Beyond that, the Bureau's rules can be vetoed by a 2/3 majority of a panel of other financial regulators, an indignity of institutionalized second-guessing known to few other agencies. But after financial regulatory reform legislation passed in July, the prospect of Warren at the Bureau's helm quickly grew into a movement, complete with internet write-in campaigns, online petitions, flurries of editorials, and even a viral rap video, certainly a first in the history of appointing government regulators. Warren would seem the easiest of choices. Since his earliest days on the campaign trail, Obama had spoken passionately about restoring competent government, and with it, competent regulators. With the midterm elections less than 2 months away, he could have used a confirmation battle over Warren to draw a much-needed distinction between his administration and those, mostly Republicans, who dared to side publicly with America's big banks and financial firms. Warren's celebrated ferocity looked tailor-made to revive Obama's vast grassroots campaign network. Like an encamped army with nothing to do, the foot soldiers of the campaign had fought among themselves a bit, eaten the leftover rations, and then drifted back to private life. Field commanders still in touch with the White House signaled by midsummer that a Warren confirmation battle would rally the troops.